Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. You have your hand up. Do you have a question?
No, I didn't. it's a thing. No
She's back. She's back, everybody. As you can tell, she's back. Everything is back to normal here in the house.
I'm drying off my hand right now.
that only bring that just brought more questions to the people. Now they want to know why your hand's wet. I'm missing my Hope soundboard though. I'll tell you.
I hated that.
What hate? That's so strong.
And guess what? You were like, go ahead and give this a listen. So I decided to listen to it when I'm coming off the migraine, and I get the bow bow, like, and I was like, okay, one time, whatever. Then it happened again, and I yelled at you about that. I was like, you could have warned me, and you didn't warn me that you did it again at the end.
If you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, last episode, episode 111, I went solo because Hope was having a migraine, and I pulled out all the stops and created my own.
The Longhorns are not my favorite team. Am I excited for the return of football season? Yes. What do you really think about football season? Getting the band back together. Rich Rod, Pat White's on the coaching staff. I wish he could suit up. I just looking at my...
No, I'm not interested. WVU football is going to be a giant disappointment. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. That's all it's so very distracting.
You think it's going to be a giant disappointment?
Yeah.
I think this season's going to be the transition season.
Which is going to be a giant disappointment.
I mean, it's not going to be any worse than the suffering that we went in the previous era of coaching.
Okay. You're confident in that.
Well, I mean, like, we might not win as many games as that, but I feel like going, like, just in general.
Okay.
Like, I know that this coach is not going to go up to the coach at Pitt and be like, I don't see what the big deal is before a major rivalry game. And let's just say, I think old Rich knows he needs to win that game. The pressure is on.
Oh, I agree.
The pressure is on.
Knows he has to win it, and there's pressure to
I had to put that out there since you had the audacity to include that in the soundboard.
It was just your own words. Everything that I had on the soundboard was just your own words. So
if I was tech savvy, I would do something like that for you. But I'd probably just get a bunch of size grunts and it was fine. It was fine. Or ships, Star Trek.
If you can find the sound bites that you want, I'll clip them and make you your own soundboard. You can make your own solo episode and you can roast me all you want.
But are you going to talk about what happened last week when we were talking about Star Trek to ourselves in the kitchen and how you brainwashed me?
You mean when you were talking about Star Trek and I was talking about Bachelor in Paradise?
That happened too?
Yeah.
Oh man! But what?
I was talking about Bachelor in Paradise and talking about some of the things they were doing with the show that we'll probably get into later in this episode. And you interrupted me to talk about Star Trek.
Oh, see, that's not what I was thinking about.
Oh,
I've done this twice now.
Yeah.
Why am I being brainwashed by you?
Well, what else has happened?
The previous episode of Strange New Worlds that we just finished, I think episode 4, was directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. I remember now.
And will you tell the people what happened? Because what did I say in my soundboard? I'm such a loser.
Yeah. I pronounced it Jonathan Franks, and you corrected me to Jonathan Frakes.
And you mean Frakes. And then I looked at you and was like, what have I done?
All I'm hearing here is I'm winning the war. I'll lose a battle here and now, but I'm losing the war.
You were talking about Bachelor in Paradise Unprovoked, so you're not that much of a winner.
But I got you to be talking about Star Trek in that moment.
All right. Anyway, we have a show coming back on Wednesday. Wednesday, Netflix.
What show?
Wednesday.
No, I know it's on Wednesday. What show is coming back on Wednesday? On Wednesday. Yeah, I get it. What's the show?
The show Wednesday. You know what I'm talking about. Wednesday, first half, season 2, dropping on Netflix on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday Addams. Okay, got it.
Are you really just now not knowing, or are you trying to do a bit?
It's a bit. Or is it?
Okay. I really want to get the Wednesday Wendy's meal that I keep telling you about that has the sauces of doom and you don't know what one you're going to get, and has the spoon of
here's the thing. Nothing about what you've described to me here makes sense with you. You're telling me
trying
you want to
different
get
sauces.
a meal that comes with mystery sauces that you don't know what they are.
Well, I'll try them, and then I'll probably just eat it with ranch, but I want to at least try them. I like all the... Well, we've already had the packaging, because we've since been now I can say to Wednesday, to Wendy's. Is that why you don't want to order that? You don't want to go to the speaker and be like, I'd like the Wednesday meal?
If you tell me that I have to go to Wendy's and purchase the Wednesday meal and say whatever weird with the what sauce, whatever.
You don't get to pick the sauces. It's a surprise.
I'm going to download the app.
It comes with nuggets, fries, and then they give you random sauces, and they give you a special Frosty that's like cherry sauce that looks like blood. I've told you this like 50 times.
But I'm not going to order all that verbally, so I will just
You just
download
say, I
the
want
app.
the Wednesday meal. You can't say that?
That's it. That's all you got to say. I feel like there's more to it than that.
If you had to spell it out, because when you were little, you know how I would be like Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah. I still say that in my head every time I say Wednesday.
You'd be like, I want the Wednesday meal. When you were younger, did your parents ever make you like order at the drive-thru yourself? My mom used to pull the car up, roll the back seat of the window down, and had me like order to get practiced, like talking to others. And I used to always wonder, like, why would she do that? And then I met you guys when it would be a 30-minute argument with tears involved over who had to call Domino's with your family. And I was like, that must be why Mom made me talk to people.
I can confirm that. However,
I used to call.
I will note, the tears weren't from me. There were other people in the family with the tears.
Then why didn't you step up to order?
Because I didn't want to. Calling people on the phone is like the worst thing ever.
It truly is terrible.
Like ever. Like I need to be medicated in order to make phone calls.
Okay.
So
circling back to not Wendy's, but to Wednesday season 2.
As in Wednesday Addams,
as
the
in
character.
Wednesday Addams of the Addams
Not
family.
the day of the week.
She is returning to the Nevermore Academy. A lot of stuff happened last season. Her boyfriend ended up being like the monster murderer guy, but I still ship them though.
Okay. Speaking of which, we did. That was one of our very first episodes of the podcast.
Say, right?
So if you're interested in going back and listening to our thoughts on season 1 of Wednesday,
like the whole season,
it's back there somewhere.
I feel like it was one of our, not the first, but like one of the, at least in that first group of 5 episodes, right?
I think so, somewhere in there. We started naming them funny, so.
But we're getting the first half, and then we get the second half in September. So that's basically what I remember. I think Christina Ricci's character, who played Wednesday Addams in the movies from the 90s, she ended up being the villain in the first season, right?
Yeah.
Like,
episode 6, Pilgrims or something. Sorry.
Yeah, because they went to like that pilgrim place.
Yeah. So somewhere in that realm is when we're talking about it.
All I know is I'm excited. The trailer had me laughing because she's going through TSA security, and they're like, "Okay, we have to search your bag." So she's like pulling out like all these different weapons, like a sword, like a knife, like I think what are those like ring? I don't know what that's
brass
called.
Knuckles.
Brass knuckles, and then the guy's like, "This really?" And she's like, "Sun cream," because the hand guy like brought the sun cream. So sunscreen, suntan lotion. Because of course, and being somebody at the airport who one time you forgot to toss out our sunscreen, and that caused you to get your entire bag searched. So that was fun.
Yeah, he had to touch my underwear just because I had sunscreen.
You had him in a packing cube. Why do you have to be so weird?
Anyways, we'll be watching that this week, so look forward to next week's episode when we talk about Wednesday, the show about Wednesday Addams, not
the day of the
day of the week, or the Wendy's, which is the...
But we might talk about how good the sauces are for the Wendy's.
Do you get all the sauces, or do you have to go multiple times to get?
It's like literally, did you not even hear me? It's like when I talk to you, like what goes on in your brain? Are you like Spock, Kirk? Because I've told you 3 times or more that you don't know what sauce they give you. I think like 3, and there's different ones, and you don't know which ones you're gonna get.
So to review them all, the question that I just asked, which still stands.
But I don't think you can request
to
them.
review them all. You're going to have to go multiple times until you get them all. So this is another Coke Zero nightmare.
No, because I just really want it one time, and I don't care too much. I just like all the cute stuff. No, the Coke, the Coke Zero and regular. We haven't even seen them on regular Coke around here, even though they're at other places. I am going to gatekeep. I'm going to do it. Anakin has always been my boo. Day one. I had to suffer almost near bullying from Star Wars fans.
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker, duh.
The fictional character from Star Wars.
Not Wednesday from
Whose
Star
now
Wars.
moniker is on a can of pop.
Yes. I had to suffer near bullying from Star Wars fans about how much I like Anakin. You could never get a word in edgewise with someone in your ear about how terrible the prequels were, how annoying Hayden Christensen's were, blah, 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 blah. Well, suddenly, just as, I'm right, always right, sometimes it takes 20 years to prove my point, suddenly Anakin, and it's not just women, men, bullies
and children?
Anakin
Would you
too.
say in children as well?
Yes. I hate them. Suddenly, they're all wanting the Anakin cans. Every time we go into the store, somebody has clearly been doing what we are, looking under the handles for the Anakin cans. My friend who lives in Atlanta went to the big Coke store, and they told her that Anakin was sold out. And it's not fair because people like me, I deserve it. I should be granted the rank of master and get my Anakin can. It's not fair. If anybody, listeners, any of you finds an Anakin can or a bottle, please give it to me. So far, I have a million Leias, Yodas, and I don't even like Coke Zero. It's gross. Team Diet Coke. I don't know why they put this stuff on Diet Coke. I just want it. I would pay, if I could order like a case, I'd probably pay like $100 if I could order the Anakin can. Please,
somebody remind me to cancel her debit card. I told you I found an Anakin.
What?
A crispy one. A crispy Anakin.
Oh, you mean Darth Vader?
Yeah.
I really thought you were telling me that you found an Anakin and didn't buy it. I was going to cancel this podcast and force choke. You turned her against me.
All right, everybody. So some television has been watched. Now, of course, if you listened to last week's episode, you know that I covered all the TV that we'd been watching in detail and read your commentary verbatim. So I don't really know how much we've got to talk about here, but I guess we'll go ahead and get started. And you have watched another episode of this since that podcast, so I guess you've got some new stuff to talk about. The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3? Which is the final season.
Which is the final season.
And we've got 4 episodes?
Yes.
So far?
It's on Amazon Prime. And you read my notes, but I actually, when I wrote my notes, I was like, he's going to, instead of saying Jer, because that's what it is, I was like, Daniel's going to make a funny and be like, Jer. And it's like, do I know my husband or do I know my husband?
1, I did pronounce it Jer. 2, it wasn't a joke. Because 3, the letters J-E-R like that are pronounced
that it was
Jer.
You knew.
No, I didn't.
You knew.
No, I didn't.
You knew. I did like how you said this is the show. I'm not allowed to talk during it because you aren't. Like you'll come up. Like one time he was trying to watch one. I think you're just up there to eat with me, and
heaven forbid.
You were like. You just started like talking during it, and like you were trying to commentate on the episode, and I was like, this is no talking zone. And I had to keep pausing it. I'm like, excuse me. Shh, shh, shh. This would be like basically the equivalent of how like One Tree Hill and the OC used to be for me when they would air. Only I was so much more well fed by like 20 plus episode seasons with those. But this is like that for me, like in like how early days of Grey's Anatomy used to be when it was really good. Like, do not talk to me while I watch this show. Your commentary is not appreciated. If you would like to speak about the episode after, you may do so.
Okay, I have a question before you proceed.
Gosh. Okay.
Does she turn prettier every summer? Because I know it's the third season now, but each one is taking place during the summer.
Okay, well,
so she turns pretty one summer. Does she keep getting prettier each consecutive summer?
I mean, I guess, but it's not the Summer the Summer I Turn Pretty is in the name of the first book. And then it's like, we'll always have summer or something. I don't remember what the names of the other two. So the other 2 books are named something different, but they called the series The Summer I Turned Pretty. We got season 1 all at once, and they kind of incorporated some elements of the other books into season 1 because they weren't sure that it was going to massively blow up and be such a hit. The books are super easy. I think I read the first book in like a day. This is one of the rare instances where I can say, and I think I've said this before, that I do like the show better than the book. I think Belly, yes, that is her name. Her name is Isabel, but they call her Belly for some reason. I don't know why they don't call her Izzy. I know she's quirky. She's not like other girls. I don't know. They call her Belly, and
Pork
you
belly.
were correct on that. Oh, don't call her that. But Belly in the show, and I've seen people complain about her, and yes, she did really tick me off in the last episode, which I'll get to in a minute. But she is more of like agency. She's more like she's a better character, I feel like, in the show than she is the books. And if you are just a show watcher, you might be like, oh my gosh, really? Yes. And I think a lot of that is because the actress, Lola Tunn, is such a good actress. And they've given Belly a little bit more depth. Like, all the characters, I think, have gotten a little bit more depth than what we got in the books. And it's just, it's one of those rare instances that, like, some of the stuff, because the books are pretty, like, juvenile, and, like, some of the plot points they've changed a little bit to make the show better, to make it more like a show. And Jenny Han, who wrote the books, also does the show, so that fits. So anyway, we got the first 2 episodes, which I believe you said. This is, I think it's finishing on, I think September 17th will be the last episode. So we got the first 2 episodes, and then it's the painful weekly release, and it is painful. I need to know why, in shows like this, where I am getting limited episodes, why are you giving me filler episodes? Why did I have to wait in the last episode like over 20 minutes for Conrad to be on my screen? That is stupid. I'm fine with filler episodes when it's 20 plus seasons. This is dumb. One of the things that they have done this season, and they have chosen to give some other characters, like we're Taylor's mom. One, Taylor is in the books, but her character is very different on the show, and I didn't like her in the book, so I do like her better in the show. But I really don't care about her and her mom losing her salon, and I don't care about Steven's new coworker. I don't care about these characters. They serve no purpose. I don't need them wasting screen time. So that's my biggest complaint so far about the season is, why are we doing this? I'm really here to see the Belly, Jeremiah, Conrad story. Well, really Belly, Conrad, because Jeremiah... I'm really here for that triangle.
I'm going to get that sound. That sound you just made right there is going to be on the soundboard.
I do like Steven and Taylor. I really came to like them as a couple last season, and that is one thing I don't know, because they were not, I mean, I think they hooked up in the first book, but they were not a thing. They were not a romantic thing. I do believe that they will be Endgame, because I think a lot of fans like them, but they're probably going to make Steven date his dumb, stupid coworker Denise, and I'm just not interested in that. It's just a waste. So I am a book reader. Obviously, I know how the books end. I am fully confident the show is going to end the way the books ended. Spoiler alert. Again, we are a spoiler podcast. Start away right now. Skip to the next chapter. The books end with Belly and Conrad together because it is their story. All right. So right now she is with Jeremiah.
So I'm not even
responding to that. I don't think that, like, they keep saying that they've changed the end. I think they're just changing the way they get to the end. I think a lot of people are really worried that Belly's going to like pull a Kelly Taylor and like choose herself. I think she might do that, but that's not going to, I think we're going to have a time jump. There was a time jump in the books as well. Like, she and Conrad, there were several years removed before they got back together. They wrote letters. I think we're going to do something similar to that. And I think we're going to get the bond right Endgame. So I'm not really worried about that. I do think the execution, that's going to be what is key. As a book reader, one of the things I hope they would change was the wedding plot, because she and Jeremiah get like engaged. And the only thing they changed about it is, instead of like the 2-year time jump, we got a 4-year time jump. So they're 20, I think he's like 22, she's 21. Jeremiah partied too much, couldn't be bothered to read an email, and now he's going to have to repeat his senior, or not repeat his senior year of college, but he's going to have to be a super senior and basically like stay for one more semester. Belly has one more year of school left, and I like some of the rare jellyfish, that's what their ship name is. Belly Jeremiah fans are like, I don't see why everybody's, we don't like them. I don't see why everyone's freaking out about this. And like, I feel like Laurel, Belly's mom, was like, fine, wait a year then. Like, finish school. I know I can't talk much because you and I got married very young, but we were done with school. we weren't in the middle of school. And this clearly was an engagement after we have ourselves a Ross Rachel situation on a breakup, whatever you want to call it, with Belly and Jeremiah. Yes, that did happen in the books. I thought that's something they might change.
Just raise the way you flowed that last conversation for a second. I thought you were talking about us for a minute, and I was like, well, I don't remember any of that.
No, not us. Belly, Jeremiah. Back to the characters. We have a Ross Rachel type situation on our hands with a break. That did happen in the books. One of the things I thought for the show, I thought the show might change that a little bit, because in the books, it was almost like oh wow, like Jeremiah's so like immature. You find out once he and Belly get together, she sees this other side of him, because she had really only seen like the fun beachy vacation at their cousin's beach every summer. That's the name of the beach. They're not cousins. It's called Cousins Beach. So don't be snarky, Daniel. And I thought that they might like actually go easier on Jeremiah's character, since they're trying to make it a mystery and there are a lot of people that do like those two together. No. They went harder at it. Like they made it worse. They made the whole like cheating. I personally would consider it cheating, and I was always on Rachel's side too, because to me, if you truly love somebody so much like that, you're not going to go out and like sleep with the first thing that you see within 5 seconds. So whatever you want to do, I don't, argue with that what you want. That's still a very hurtful thing. So Jeremiah in the books only like cheated like one time. Like he hooked up with the same person twice in Cabo in the show, and they're just making it way worse. They made the proposal way worse because they had Steven get in an accident. He's fine. So he like proposes to her like outside of the hospital. Like talk about emotional manipulation. Like it's just and I feel like with the fandom that most people are on the right side of history, Team Conrad, because it's ultimately their story. Like Belly is still in love with Conrad. Duh. Like they still like there's still feelings there. And a lot of the people that like Jeremiah, I think, like him because the actor's cute, and it's just like a lot of younger kids, like people that are watching it not with like life experience. I haven't seen a lot of grown-ups that like that ship. So whatever. I think they're like I was actually surprised. That's my biggest take. I was like, wow, they're going worse on Jeremiah than I thought. Then they actually had him be supportive about Belly getting a year abroad in Paris. And they flipped that in the last episode where Belly was like, you know what? I don't want to leave you. I think I'm going to stay. And he's like, oh, good. I want you to stay. And I'm like, oh. So my millennial heart as a woman, I'm taken back to a little show I like to call The Hills, which was a spinoff of Laguna Beach, where Lauren Conrad, last name not related to Conrad of the show, she will always be the girl that didn't go to Paris, and she chose to stay with Jason, she was not with to this day. Instead of going to Paris, my millennial people know what I'm talking about. But anyway, all that being said, I'm still really enjoying the show. I think it's just going to be a little painful for a minute. We had the whole episode reveal in I think it was episode 3, where they revealed the engagement and everyone like flipped out about it. And Adam, that's Conrad and Jeremiah's dad, who is played by the drummer from Ooh, That Thing You Do. I usually hate Adam, but the way he was clocking Jeremiah left and right, he's like, how are you going to pay for that? With what? And it was just funny. Anyway, I think their dad is really mean and a jerk, but that he did serve some reality truths there. The last episode probably is where the first time Belly's really made me mad in the show, because I felt like she and Jeremiah were like mean, like to Conrad. Like they basically, Belly has a fit. She runs out of the house because Laurel's still not supportive of the marriage. So they go to the beach house, and Conrad's been hanging out at the beach house because he came home for the memorial, got this news dumped on him that his brother is like engaged to his ex-girlfriend. Ugh. And he's just been out there like trying to, get his head right before he flies back out, and he has to see them, and he tells Jeremiah basically, he's trying to, he's like, it's a little ridiculous that you guys are like not willing to wait. Like, why are you want to get married? And they were like making fun of him, like out by the pool. But because Conrad is the better man, he's in therapy, he's trying to get better. He overhears Belly crying in her room after Jeremiah leaves, because he knows, Belly's obviously upset. Like every girl like wants their mom with them to do wedding dress shopping, to help to be there for their wedding. He hears her cry, and you see him be like, ugh. So he decides to not fly back to California, because that's where he is. He's like in med school, basically going to be a doctor. We love that for him. And he ends up staying, makes Belly her favorite muffins for her birthday. And Jeremiah's already gone back to work at his like dad's company or something, because his dad's like, lifeguarding's not going to pay the wedding bills, blah, blah, blah. And Belly's like, oh, you remembered it was my birthday? And he's like, I always remember. And they hug. And in that hug, that 20-second hug, I was finally well fed as a fan. And you hear the actor that plays Conrad say, what have I done? So we're finally going to get our Conrad narrated episode. And the books did that too. Almost all the books are from Belly's perspective. But in book 2, you had a couple chapters that was Jeremiah's perspective. And then in the third book, you had Conrad's perspective. So I've been waiting for this for like 3 seasons on the show. And I feel like we've had to suffer through these first like 4 episodes and barely gotten any Conrad interactions and all these side plots. And I feel like we're finally going to get a good episode. So I had to get all that off my chest because the summer I turn Vulcan, I mean the summer I turn pretty, is back. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use that as a segue, unless you have anything to say about my show.
I have 2 things to say about your show. First,
really?
a 20-second hug. That's a really long hug.
I don't know if it was 20 seconds, but it was like their chemistry, they are like connected. It is their story. Like he challenges her.
I was just
he
joking.
makes it better. Oh, you were just being sarcastic?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to be nice because I'm very passionate about
The second item is Jeremiah a bullfrog by chance? Hey, everybody, guess what?
Jeremiah sucks.
We've been watching Star Trek.
Yes.
If you can't tell by how much Star Trek started the conversation here.
So in the summer, I turned Vulcan, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 3. I pretty much agreed with what you said in your solo episode. I did not, once again, the premiere was a bust for me. It was like we had that, I wish they would just included that at the end of Season 2, but I guess they had to sizzle us. It just felt very flat. But one of the criticisms that I had of it was that Patel,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not Patel, it's Batel. Why am I losing his...
Captain Pike?
Captain Pike. I was about to say the guy from the Britney Spears movie. Because Captain Pike is in Crossroads, a great movie with Britney Spears and Gamora, by the way. Gamora's in that from Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway, his boo, like we thought she might die, we thought she might live, and it seemed like they put just like a tight little, cute little bow on it and sewed it up, and I was like, well, that was too easy. Well, it's not too easy. That's going to be a through plot because they're clearly she like rejected one of the treatments, so they're going to have to try to like do something else to get this like Gorn like out of her or whatever, and Gorn is like the big monsters or something that they were fighting. So I respect that from a plot perspective, but that's still going to be like a through line. Erica clearly had PTSD from that finale. We're getting captured by the Gorn. I think that's going to be a through line, but the through lines are fine when I have my mess around episodes and just fun. And I felt like that episodes 2 and even 3 in a way. 3 is where we got more information on Batel, but there was still fun stuff in it. Really rebounded nicely. And then, of course, the most recent episode we watched, 4, was hilarious. Before I get into what I really want to talk about Star Trek, what do you have to say? I know you kind of already talked about those first.
I'm happy with the season so far. Like I said last week, I've never been a huge fan of the second part of a 2-part episode, particularly when that happens to be like part 1 was the finale of a season and part 2 is the start of a new season.
You wait like what, 2 years?
Because like it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever been fully satisfied with the conclusion of the part 2. And I'm not talking just about Star Trek. I'm talking like in general. I just feel like they've never paid off that cliffhanger, and it's always just ended up being a cheap, like, make sure you come back next season kind of a ploy to get people to come back, which I don't think was ever the case for this show. That they were already filming or trying to film season 3 when season 2 aired, and then of course the strike shut stuff down and all that happened. So, but I think it's rebounded. The 3 episodes after that have been exactly what I want out of this show.
And you got Q.
Got Q. That was great. That was
Q's
awesome.
Son. We had a little. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get into it.
Go for it.
Chapel. Nurse Chapel comes back with this man. What's his name? Dr. Corby.
Yeah.
Can I just say that Dr. Corby, I think like he is a creepy teacher. I think he groomed her and played on her. Talk about emotional manipulation in another show. Like she was grieving like the loss of her mother or something, or a sad experience. I don't know what it was. And he used that to boo her up. I don't why? That the whole relation, I know that they are canon in the original series, but just the way they introduced it and explained why suddenly she went from being super into Spock, broke up with Spock to go do this internship, fine, or fellowship, fine. You know, she's advancing in her career. That's great. But like she basically emotionally closed off from relationships and then shows up with this this man with not telling anybody about it, not mentioning it to Spock, and we're all just supposed to sit here and be like, okay. Then we find out he was basically like her teacher. Hello, can we say, casual grooming maybe? I'm not into it. I'm mad.
I mean, I think you're kind of supposed to be mad about it.
Yeah, but am I supposed to? I felt like they want us to be like chill with this character.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with the character. I think your
He
characterization.
clearly booed her up.
I think. Okay, yes. I think your characterization of grooming is going a
Use
bit
of
far.
power.
They're both people in their at least late 20s, maybe even
She
early
was still
30s.
his student. There was a power dynamic at play. I don't
He's
know.
the person running the fellowship, and she's attending the fellowship
I
of
don't
adults. I
like
think
it.
I think it's a little bit different than how you're characterizing it. My opinion.
So you ship them?
I didn't say that.
But that's okay though, because I've moved on.
I only ship the USS Enterprise NCC 1701, ma'am.
Okay, I ship like everybody. But I guess that Spock has become like the community bicycle of Star Trek. So, and you know what? I'm down for it. I said it so last season. I said, well, these characters look hot together. So Spock and Leon, is that, am I saying her name right?
Yeah.
He was like, she was teaching him how to dance last season, and they've had some scenes, and I remember remarking about their chemistry. Then they had another scene after, Chapel and the whole like wedding, because we had like a fake wedding debacle because Q was doing a mess around. And I'm like, am I reading too much into this? Are they hinting at something? Yes. Can we say, so in the most recent episode, they kissed. And I'm like, oh!
You had, can I say, I've seen you have that reaction in like, again, shows like
the
One
Samurai
Tree
Turned
Hill,
Pretty.
A Samurai Turned Pretty, that kind of show. You had that reaction to a Star Trek.
I did. I had to, because it was like, oh my gosh, I got this. And I guess online, the fandom is really split on it, but I like it. I'm down for it. I think right now they are both like kind of in an emotional place because she obviously was into Kirk.
Yeah.
He clearly has had his heart broken. So they're obviously, we know they're not like an endgame situation. But I think they're making Spock like this for a purpose. And I think something's going to happen when this show ends, why he's going to close himself off a little more to some relationships. It's very interesting, too, that eventually we know Spock's going to be into Jim Kirk. And that's like Leon's into Kirk. Like, maybe that's like the tie. Because I've suddenly, after I lingered too long on a Star Trek edit on TikTok, now I'm getting all kinds of, like, Spock, Kirk.
You're not ignoring
McCoy.
them. You sent one to me.
I did. I sent you one with "She's Got a Way." It was good. It was good edit. It was Spock and Kirk, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of the two of them together? I think they look good together. I'm for it. I'm all for it. Chapel's off with that stupid man.
It's ultimately doomed.
Yeah, but so what?
Yeah. So
I felt like, while I liked Spock and Chapel, I honestly think, and I felt this in season 1, that the actors have better. Those two actors, Spock and Leon, have like better chemistry.
I do agree with
like,
you.
They
that
look
I think,
hot.
I think the way they're going to explain it, storytelling wise, is like both of them are people who are like kind of going through some rejection at the moment. So I did have a note that you had me write down about Star Trek: male nurse onesie.
Yeah. So when Chapel wears the onesie, it didn't look as weird to me. The male nurse that they have in it looks like he's in like a baby's outfit. Like, like it just doesn't look, it looks weird. It looks odd. So speaking of the medical staff, Dr. Mbenga, do we think we're going to see why his eventual exit would play out for being in charge? Because he just straight up admitted that he killed that Klingon guy and didn't care. And that was season 2. Yeah.
I think that they have to start so we know that there's a 4th season and a shortened 5th season, and that's going to be it. And from what the showrunner has said is the last thing you're going to see at the end of this series is Kirk's first day. So
can I please get McCoy?
A couple things that have to happen. By the time Kirk has his first day, Mbenga is not the chief medical officer.
Yeah.
Now, he is still on the Enterprise, or at least comes on the Enterprise occasionally because he is in original series episodes. McCoy's also not there necessarily at the very beginning of original series. I think I have trouble believing they won't get him in there sometime, either in season 4 or in season 5. I really have a lot of trouble with that.
What's a particular actor? Like, if you think of any actor right now off the top of your head, because I have
For
one.
McCoy?
I have one who I would pick for McCoy.
I can't think of anybody for McCoy right now off the top of my head.
Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna say the actor's name, and you're gonna be like, who? And then I'll tell you what show he's in. Jake Johnson, Nick from New Girl. I think would make a fantastic McCoy for the age range that we'd be looking at. Grumpy, still funny. I think he could play like, because we don't want someone too old, and he's older. Like
Right.
he would be age appropriate.
McCoy is a little bit older than Kirk.
Yeah,
and,
but I
and
think
them,
Jake
yeah.
Johnson's probably a little bit older than Paul Wesley.
I could maybe see it. I don't know.
I think
the only thing
that's in my head. That's what it's working for me.
I've never seen him do any acting. If
Yes,
that
you
makes
did.
any sense.
We watched him in that movie, Let's Be Cops.
Again, I've never seen him do any acting. I've always seen him doing comedy acting, and I think to
he could
do
bring
this
funny.
show, you'd need to be a little bit more than just a comedy haha
He
actor.
and Jess had serious scenes.
He also would have to work on a bit of an accent.
My friends call me Gay Nick.
I don't hate it, but I also don't think that's going to happen. I think that they'll.
Well,
probably,
I don't think they're going to cast him.
I think,
no.
yeah, I think they'll pull some, especially you got to remember, depending on how, like, all this shakes out, it might. They're not going to spend a ton of time getting a big actor who's only going to do the role like 2 episodes and
I
then the
wouldn't
show
call
ends.
him a big actor, would you?
He's not going to come in for 2 episodes of a show, of the end of a Star Trek show.
You know what I wish they would have done though? I really wish they would have just let Paul Wesley play Sam too with a fake mustache. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
Or gotten like Ian Somerhalder, who, you know, obviously Stefan and Damon, to come on there. So the last episode was is that our first holodeck?
That is canonically the first holodeck in Star Trek.
Do you want to explain what the holodeck is briefly? Explain it in 2 sentences.
I feel stupid explaining this to people. Like, go watch Star Trek. The holodeck is a holographic deck
Simulation?
that you can walk into, and it will transport. It transforms the room into wherever
like
you
they've
programmed
done like
it to
Sherlock Holmes stuff before.
be. And fake people, like, and holograms show up in it as people, and it always turns into a mess around because there's supposed to be safety protocols, but they never
It
work.
never works. We
Yeah.
got a little bit more Scotty trying to fix it, but we had Leon go in there, and she's basically being like a detective. So they basically, I felt like it got very meta, like trying to do like a cheesy version of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Kirk, played by Paul Wesley, in the episode, and he was just overkill with the brooding faces. And can I just say that Paul Wesley has made Instagrams before where he makes fun of Ian Somerhalder's like sexy Damon face, and he was absolutely making that face where, and you know who I'm talking about, Damon, Ian Somerhalder,
Yeah. I
the
know.
broody face.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Does that not look like how?
Yeah.
And I feel like Paul was like straight up like doing that face that he does when he makes fun of Ian, who played his brother on the TV show The Vampire Diaries. I felt like he was doing that when he was like serving looks like Stefussy. If you know, you know, Vampire Diaries girlies.
I wish I didn't know.
You do. Because one time Daniel was like, "What does Stefussy mean?" And I'm like, I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, the whole episode was good. This was my favorite episode of the season so far.
Same, agreed.
It's up there in the top, not just Strange New Worlds episodes, but probably Star Trek episodes. I just thought it was really good. I really enjoyed too the kind of meta commentary on Star Trek itself, because the whole episode kind of revolved, the holodeck mystery revolved around a canceled a 60s sci-fi show being canceled, and the actress that plays Uhura got to give a speech about why, this was important and why it needs to be given a chance, and it really felt very much like that's what it meant to people in the 60s, what Star Trek meant to people in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s when people were watching it. And so I thought that it was really well done. It was funny, it was entertaining, it was a great episode. And
it's a way, one of my questions, while I love Paul Wesley and I like seeing Kirk, was how often are we going to be able to realistically work Kirk into these storylines? That's a way that and I'm sure he is going to show up as Kirk, real Kirk, in the scenes, but that's a way that you can get him in to come do like one of those mess around episodes. I'm going to say my main complaint about Star Trek before we move on. What are we doing with these wigs? Una's wig looked just terrible. Like, can we just let Rebecca Romaine wear her blonde hair and be like, Una got a makeover or something?
So you're talking specifically about the third episode.
Not good at all, but there was one episode, I think it was the third one, where she had it like an updo, and it looked bad. Even you were like, that is a bad wig. Why? Why are we having such bad wigs?
I don't know. It was not a good one.
Do you wear wigs?
I really have been irritated by your, in the same way I've ruined movies for you with ADR and a couple of other things. You ruined wigs for me because you told me the trick to figuring out if it's a wig or not. And I don't like it. And I don't like it.
And there are some really good wigs, and there are some bad wigs. I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. I'm really excited for some
Dr.
Spock
Corby
Leon
shows back
stuff.
up.
Yeah. I really like. I want some more Spock smooching. I don't know why people are so. There's people that are really into it, and then there's other people that are really about it. But I'm down for it. I think it's all going to serve a purpose. I think because we're seeing a more emotionally open Spock than what we've seen him in other things. I think the end of this show, something is going to happen. I predict that sadly Leon might be the one that dies. Maybe she makes a sacrifice. Maybe that impacts him. I don't know. Whatever it is. I hope she doesn't. I hope she goes on and has a thriving career and we've just never heard of her before on the original series. But I think something's going to go down that's going to impact Spock a little bit. And I don't think this is just being done because Ethan Peck is hot, the guy that plays him, and we want to show him kissing people. But guess what, guys? Star Trek fans, to you and to all maybe one of you out there that like Star Trek like Daniel, the way to get me to watch is to put in romance.
Well, there you have it, folks. Speaking of romance, we've also been watching, and just like that, season 3.
Season 3, and the final season, The National Nightmare, is over. But you know what, guys?
I've never seen a fan base complain more about a show
mad that they canceled
that they complain about every week.
Listen, did we criticize every episode? Did we absolutely hate it, what they've done with the characters? Yes, but were we going to tune in and still continue to tune in? Also, yes, I'm a little irritated and irked. Now, they're saying that they planned for this to be the last, while other people are saying it was canceled. I think they got canceled. What do you think?
It sure seems like they got canceled.
Anyway, you were pretty good about your comments in the last one.
Thank you.
Let's just say that...
What do we got? 2 episodes left this season?
2 episodes to go. I don't know why we had to waste so many on Aiden. Aiden, talk about, everyone's like character. No, Aiden was always a walking red flag. They just really drove that home. And it's like he didn't grow up at all. Super glad that Aiden was gone. When Aiden's not in an episode, I enjoy the show so much more. Like the show where the one episode that he wasn't in was great. And then he came back. As you said on the podcast, Carrie has far more chemistry with the basement dweller, the writer Duncan.
I feel like though, yes, I agree. Immediate.
I don't think they're in game.
Well, I'm not entirely convinced we see him again.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they wrapped that story up this last episode.
I think so too, and I'm fine with it. Carrie was finally seen by a man for her, not who she for her talents as a writer. Like he did not, in my opinion, really even try to flirt with her until they had established their kind of working relationship, and he knew that Aiden was out of the picture, and it was very she kind of she was in the driver's seat of that. Like I don't think he would have made a move if she hadn't. But yeah, they did hook up finally, and it was hot, much better than me having to watch Aiden lick his hand in a car in a field in Virginia. Like that was an actually hot scene. But then right after, they had some fun, they were back to talking about their books that they're writing. And I thought it was really funny that he was like, so you're important, or you're Carrie Bradshaw, because he didn't really get her, she's written a bunch of books. She used to have a column that I'm not going to say she's famous, but she's well known within those ranks.
Certainly in New York City, and certainly in publishing, the publishing scene in New York City. People know who she is. Yeah.
And I think, Carrie said at one point, one of the reasons why she was even afraid to hook up with him was because it was the first time she had really felt seen. I don't think Carrie's going to end up with anybody. I think that she's going to continue to focus on her true love, her passion of writing. And I think that she finally is almost to a place where she is healed. We didn't really get to see her grieve over the loss of Big very much. Say what you want about that. Was the love of her life. And then Aiden stepped back in, and I think if good writers would have written that as she decided to go with Aiden because it was a comfort, it was the second love, you always wonder what if. I think they just stretched it out a little too long. I hope we don't see Aiden again. I'm going to be ticked if we do in these last 2 episodes. But I don't think she's going to, like, why does she need to end up with anybody? Like, life is going to go on, you know, maybe she'll reconnect with that Duncan in the future. That's my prediction from her. I feel like costuming and hairstyling of Sarah Jessica Parker has been very intentional. The moment she and Aiden broke up and they played that Taylor Swift song, Chef's Kiss, the scene, suddenly my girl was dressing hot again. We have the nice, they're not like the old school Carrie curls, but we have her hair nicely done again. She's wearing really pretty outfits again. And there's even one scene where she was going to go to that party with Duncan. And you see she's maybe thinking about wearing like a more traditional suit.
Right.
She changes her mind and puts on, you know, an outfit that's Carrie. That's her personality. And I felt like that was the clothing. That is one thing that has always been intentional with this show. Do you think she ends up with somebody?
I don't think so. And I also don't think, like, at this point with 2 episodes left, there's not a lot of time to even... It would have to be somebody new, right? Because, like, none of us want it to be Aiden.
Absolutely not.
You know, I'm holding out for Burger, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Maybe Big will come out the door and be like, surprise, just kidding. I don't think so.
And I really, honestly, if they, like, just suddenly, like, bring Duncan back in out of the ether, I thought they had a really, nice kind of they came to an agreement with each other. They understood each other. But I think he left it, and they left it as like this is a professional
open
thing
and
only.
Like they could hook up.
Maybe not for in the future perhaps, but I feel like in this show specifically, unless they're going to do like a huge time jump right there at the end, I don't think it would be appropriate to do that.
I would like to see Carrie on a flight to London, but because we know
going to Frasier us.
No, but we know Samantha lives there. Texting Samantha to meet up for drinks or something at the end. I think that we're seeing like finally a very mature version of Carrie. Harry and Charlotte, I think they're going to be fine. I don't think there's much to tell there. Seema and Trey from the OC, he doesn't wear deodorant. He likes crystals. I don't really know or care about that. Lisa, Charlotte's friend, I forget that they're on the show. And then when her scenes with her family is on the show, I feel like I'm watching a different show. So that leaves us with Miranda. I think Miranda having an honest conversation with Joy, she's going to be in, I guess, a stable relationship where they can watch NPR and have intelligent conversations. I mean, maybe Miranda's going to be a grandma. We don't know, because I guess we did see Steve in the last episode.
And Ratatouille Boy.
Which you are dying to get this out.
I called this out. Probably if you go back to when we talked about season 2 or season 1.
Did we talk about season 1?
He wasn't in season 2. I don't know.
He was in season 1, but like I don't know if we talked about that on the pod. I can't remember.
Okay, this kid looks exactly like the redhead from Ratatouille.
Yes.
And then in this episode, they dropped that he wants to go to culinary school. And we had to pause the episode.
I laugh. The fans manifested this.
I don't know. It's whatever.
So I'm a little irritated with his baby mama drama. I think this would have been a good opportunity, which again, the writing on the show is bad, but that didn't mean we wanted it canceled. I feel like it would have been better if they had made his baby mama like a Miranda type character.
I agree. Instead,
they make it is this what they think Gen Z is? They made it her a hairstylist that's like farting in her client's face. Like, and then Miranda,
she's not even a hairstylist. She's just
the
shampooer.
Like, what are we doing here? So I don't know. I'm sure they'll find a way to wrap it up in a bow. But yeah, you know what, Daniel? Just because we complain, and by we, I mean, well, you complain too, but especially me. I complained a lot.
I complained too, but I'm fine that it got canceled.
Well, I'm not fine. I wanted more because I just love these characters so much.
Well, how about a bunch of characters you don't care for at all?
Oh.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise. I felt like you did a pretty good job covering that.
Okay, we can move on
then.
Because nothing happened in the last episode.
Well, they brought in one more girl, Alicia, I want to say. Dale just continues to get awful. Can we just say that all of the young men, except for Jonathan, who's okay, but he must be like doing something on the scenes because he keeps getting friend zoned. See, Andrew is not from Jen's season, and is there any other man not from her season? Oh, Dale, because he's bad. He's from Claire's season. But they're mostly all from Jen's season. I am so validated that I love Jen, but I remember looking at the cast thinking her men were terrible. I'm so validated that I didn't waste my time watching her season because these men are horrible. The show's saving grace is the Goldens. They're the ones that make it fun. Like April was like, she's now kissed, what, like 3 of the young guys?
Yeah.
It's just.
And had a body shot. One of them did a body shot of her.
I think like 2 of them did.
Yeah.
A body shot and then like a makeout. Like
Yeah.
Dale kissed her. That boy.
She's living it up.
I don't remember what his name was. The one that looks like Jason Priestley. And then he's like, who's Jason Priestley? Sean, I think that's his name. We've lost Jill. Now Jill sent herself home because she realized these men ain't it. So that's our one entertaining factor. I think what the problem is with the young cast is that they are so aware of the cameras and so aware about, and I think this is very similar to, and I know some of these are probably millennials too that are on it, but I've seen this with Gen Z. They're so aware about like how they come off. Like they're so afraid to be cringe. It's ruining the show. They're so aware about like appearances. But guess what? The men, your appearances aren't looking good at all. You guys look terrible. All these gorgeous women crying over these terribly ugly men, it makes me sick.
I do know. I will say, I know you had told me at one point you thought maybe they were like trying to move position for Dale to be the Bachelor, and I feel like they killed that. The edit he got on this show, he has no chance.
He deaded it. I deaded it. Like, what does that even mean?
I did fail to bring that up on my episode.
He said
last
it like 50
week.
times.
I don't know.
He's so toxic. I really hope that he and Kat are not together. The only couple that I see, and this includes the Goldens as well, they're fun and entertaining, but so far I'm not seeing a major connection between the Goldens. The only couple I think is going to be Jess and Spencer. So apparently there's money at stake. They're going to change the format. I miss the crusty beach. I miss the cheesy. They do the song, but not in the right way. They're trying to be something they're not, and they're failing miserably. And I just watched. Can we just jump in?
Do it. Transition.
Anything else you want to say about Bachelor in Paradise?
No, I can't wait for it to be over.
Okay. I watched Perfect Match on Netflix, and I've never seen the other previous 2 seasons of Perfect Match. This is season 3. I tuned in because they had Clayton, who was one of my least favorite bachelors, on. But then Rachel, who was on Clayton's season and was also the Bachelorette herself. And they're bringing in people that aren't just from Netflix shows. So I was like, I want to watch because I know these 2 are going to be on together. They used to date. I want to see what happens. And I sped through those first, I think we got the first 6 episodes of Perfect Match, zoomed through it. That is what Bachelor in Paradise is trying to be, but failing miserably at. Like, they just should have stuck with their old format and not changed it up because Perfect Match is good. Like, even you didn't watch all of it with me. You sat down and watched a couple episodes again while you were eating, and you were like, this is more entertaining. Do you stand by that?
Yeah, I do. As entertaining as these types of shows
trash
can possibly be.
We will get the back half of that season this Friday, and then we get the finale, I think, on like the 15th. So Perfect Match, because you're like, what is it about? I actually decided to
finding your perfect match.
Perfect Match is a Netflix reality dating show where former contestants from various Netflix series like Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, and The Circle are brought together to find love. And I think they also have people from Love Island UK on it this season as well. Siesta Key, whatever that is, somebody was from that. And then, of course, they've been bringing in Bachelor people. The show centers around contestants pairing up, competing in compatibility challenges, and strategically forming new connections. Couples who win challenges get dates and the power to bring in new singles, potentially disrupting existing pairings. They call that the boardroom. The goal is to find the perfect match, and anyone left out without a match at the end of the night is eliminated. So the goal: become the strongest couple in the villa, aka the perfect match. The whole compatibility, like games and stuff they do, way better than Bachelor in Paradise. Some of the games they're playing actually reminds me of like the really cheesy old school games that they used to do in the early seasons of MTV's The Challenge. So I like that. It's just the whole format's better. It's just way more entertaining. Honestly, Nick Lachey is a better host than Jesse. I can't believe I'm saying that because I don't like Nick Lachey very much, even though I do like 98 Degrees. He kind of gets on my nerves. But he's just kind of there. He just like pops in and out. The whole aspect of like the boardroom where like if you win the challenge, you're the couple that wins the challenge for the day. You get to go in, and then you can, sometimes it's going to be a set of girls, sometimes a set of boys. And I think on the last episode it was girls and boys. And you can bring people in and you can pick like, okay, well, I see, Madison is in a relationship with so-and-so. We're going to make her go on a date with this person. So that you can make, and then if you decide, which I think it was like the first episode with the boardroom, the girl's like reviewing the guy. She's like, well, I want to go on a date with this guy. See you later, to the guy that she won with. And she's like, I want to go on a date on Freddie. So that like that aspect adds like a fun layer to it. The games are fun. The format's fun. It's just better. The reason why I tuned in, Clayton and Rachel. Clayton, I never want to see you on my TV again. You are terrible. He is using, you know what he's doing? He's using like therapy speak, but in like a toxic way, trying to come off that he's been evolved and become better, but it's coming off as just very toxic and terrible. And he did pick Rachel to be his perfect match, and she agreed to it. Why, Rachel? Why, Rachel? Show it to me, Rachel. Why? And then the next day, not even like 24 hours later, he's like, my intuition is telling me that we're not going to work out again. And I'm like, are you serious? So that is the third time that Rachel has let this man like embarrass her on national TV. And I hope she never does it again. I was honestly like, you know what? Because I always thought that Rachel was the only one that really liked him. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's evolved, he's changed, and they could be a thing. No. Rachel went on a date with Freddie, the only man. What is wrong with men? I hate all the men from all these shows. These men are just, they're not as bad as Bachelor in Paradise, but they still suck. So Rachel went on a date with like the only one I like, Freddie, I think he's from like Love Island or Love is Blind UK. One of the things, I don't know. Maybe they're not, I don't know what show. I can't keep up with it, but he's British and he's like the only like guy that seems to be remotely nice on the show. And they come back and I felt like Clayton saw that they had a thing and just didn't like it and decided to kind of go over to Rachel, put it in her head. Then she told Freddie she was still undecided and confused. And that's why Freddie matched with Madison, who I don't care for very much, but whatever. And then I think, like, obviously to stay on the show, like, Clayton and Rachel matched together. But it was super annoying, super irritating. So then he wins with, they had two different, a male and a female winner the next day, right? So instead of going on a date with Rachel, he went on a date with Sandy, who won. And I think that Clayton thought he was going to get to pull in some ladies to choose for himself. Guess what, Clayton? It was just men. So Clayton's gone. He's off the show for now. One of the most confusing things about it is that two of the people that are coupled up, which are AD and Ollie, we already know that they are engaged and have a baby on the way. Like, Netflix announced their engagement at the Love is Blind reunion. And so we already know that they're going to end up together, but we know apparently they don't win perfect match. And they're saying right now that the rumors are that they had to go back in and kind of give Ollie a better edit. And I'm like, if this is Ollie's good edit, I'd hate to see what his bad edit is because he's not coming off good either. That being said, I had to get the Clayton Rachel stuff off my chest because they're why I watched. This show is 1,000 times better. And I always like Love is Blind. You have watched some of Love is Blind, and you said that was better than The Bachelor. When you watched Love is Blind.
100%.
They just know how to do it better. I don't know. Get it together, ABC. Do you have anything to say for your, 10 minutes watching Perfect Match?
No.
None at all?
None at all.
You asked me while we were watching, you go, why are some of them British? And I was like, because that's where they're from.
Well, and that was the answer. Well, you answered it just here. You said some of the Love Island, the UK people.
True.
Sorry about my disparaging remarks about Love Island last week, everybody, by the way. Although it still doesn't mean I'm going to watch it because I'm still not going to download
It might have been Love is Blind UK. I can't remember if they're on. I don't know. There's a lot of reality shows out there.
Maybe too many.
But yet I have no word on when Special Forces is returning.
This is a travesty that must be rectified immediately. Okay, well, I think that is that for the episode. What do we got coming up next week?
Well, we have another Netflix show that I have finished, The Hunting Wives, recommended to me by one Daniel. Right over here, Daniel's like, hey, I heard this show's crazy and really trashy, and I was like, say no more. And I thought it was going to be about, like, women whose husbands hunt. Couldn't be more wrong. There is way too much for me to say because we've already talked so long. So... y'all, this is your, suggestion, warning. Go watch The Hunting Wives right now. So you'll be ready to hear my commentary for next week.
I do have one more note. I'm kind of struggling to remember exactly why I noted this down, but
okay.
I remember making the note, and I remember saying, I'll write this in a way I won't possibly forget what it is. Do you know what I'm saying when I'm referring to the Dr. Doom discourse?
Yes.
Oh, so you remember. Okay, I see how it is. Enlighten me.
Okay, so we had finished a run a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the actor who was in, I think he was in, like, Charmed, and he also played Doctor Doom in
Sure.
not I don't know like the 2005
Yeah, the Chris Evans ones. Yeah.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Four, with just like Jessica Alba and people like those movies.
Yeah.
And I said, did you see the guy that played Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movies? I was like, did you see that he died? And you were like, you paused and you were looking at me like he didn't play. And I was like, oh, well, maybe he played another character in the movie. And I was like, did he play like the Silver Surfer? Because I don't remember those movies very much. I've tried to block them out of my brain, as most people have. I don't remember them being bad, but I don't remember much of them. And then you're like, no. Like, basically, Daniel looks at me like, no, idiot. That's not what he said. But you gave me a look. And you're like, he played Dr. Doom. I'm like, that's what I said. And then we proceeded to have a 2-minute, like, her sister was a witch. Like,
And we were both talking about the same thing, though. We were both...
in the middle of the parking lot at the gym, by the way, outside of our car. And I was like, that's what I said, Dr. Doom. And so things got a little heated. And that's probably what you mean by the Doctor Doom discourse. Rest in peace to that guy. I think he was on another show. Was he like on a show about like called like Vegas or something? I don't remember.
I don't know. I only remember him being that.
Anyway, but apparently you did it at first, and I was right and you were wrong about Doctor Doom.
My brain takes time to catch
up. And I'm like,
up
what
sometimes.
was he? Another character in the movie? I knew he was in the movie, and then you're basically like, no, he was Doctor Doom, and I'm like, that's what I said.
You occasionally talk a million miles a minute. You're like a machine gun.
I'm an Aries.
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate you tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.